Hi, and welcome to Paratalk One-on-One. I am your host, Hazel Evans, and today I have a special guest, Mark Cardenas from the Midnight Paranormal Society in San Antonio. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
And today we're actually going to talk about this Paranormal Partnership of Texas that you have created.
Correct.
Okay, you want to give me a little more information? How did this get started?
Yeah, so about maybe a month ago, over a month ago, I was just at home. I was sitting around and I kept thinking about this idea that has been in my mind for the last like 2 years. And I've seen other people attempt this, but not at the scale that I'm trying to get it to. Uh, and so I spoke to my team and I'm like, listen, we need to build a paranormal partnership where we can bring other teams in Texas together. One thing that I would love to do, and it's going to take time, it's not going to happen overnight. Um, but I would love to break the stigma of teams not want to work together because they're afraid that someone's trying to steal their thunder or their magic or however you want to label it. To me, it's like when you start getting too focused on that, you start losing, you kind of get lost, you lose track of why you got to school in the first place. And so by us coming together and setting aside our own agendas, we can come together, help reach a wider audience of individuals, bringing education to the paranormal, bringing awareness, excuse me, sorry, and helping more people who are being affected by the paranormal. And so I talked to my team about it. They were for it. They're like, yes, let's do this. So then I went to paranormalsocieties.com and I started initially, I'm sorry, I messaged 20 groups here in San Antonio. Out of the 20 teams, only 6 responded to me. To me, that was a success because it could have been 0 people who responded. You know what I mean? And so then once we had the first 6 teams who responded, I reached out to my publisher, Art, who was making a book of my team and I said, listen, can we find a venue? Can we find a venue where we can have a private, intimate meeting amongst all the teams who come together for this partnership? And he's like, yeah, give me a day or two, and I'll get a venue. He got a venue, and it went from being 6 teams, and it grew to 35 teams. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, whoa, like that's amazing to me. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, we're sharing this vision. They're willing to come together, set aside their own agendas, and really take the time and effort to make this go from a dream or from an idea to a reality. And so, we kind of had the meeting and we discussed the details, and we formed the Paranormal Partnership of Texas. And so with this partnership, we want to build a platform, which we are now, where yes, we get started on it today, but it's ultimately for those who get to come after us. We're not going to be here forever. And so the next generations of investigators who come into this field, we want to build this hub, this place where they can come and be themselves, be, like family. They don't have to work as hard because we built this for them. And like I said, we're not gonna do this overnight. It's gonna take time, but it's so amazing that it went so fast from being just an idea. Now that it's a reality. It's actually happening, and seeing everyone come together in the chats on the page, and just seeing that camaraderie. People coming together and talking and sharing ideas, and it's an amazing thing to be a part of.
Right. And this is kind of cool because, like you said, any new teams that form and stuff, they have people that they can contact now for information, for help if they need it. I mean, and you learn by experience. So that's
Definitely.
great that people can reach out to you for that. Now, have you gotten any backlash about it from any teams?
Oh yeah, I mean, not to throw anyone under the bus, but there's been certain teams who I've approached, people who I've known in the field for a while now. There's one team who they had this thing where they're like, ask me anything Saturday or ask me anything Sunday. And so I approached one of the teams, excuse me, sorry, my allergies. I approached one of the teams and I said, how do you feel about pair unity? How do you feel about working with other groups? And like within a second or two, I got blocked. And I was like, wait a second, like I've talked to this group for many, many years and you're just blocking me, you know what I mean? And there's one gentleman out of Austin. Um, he was an older gentleman, but he dropped I don't know how many f bombs on me on the phone call about how he was just against the idea, against paranormal investigators. And I'm like, but wait, you're a paranormal investigator yourself, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, so then are you against yourself? And he was like, no, but it was kind of thing where there's some people who are just, they are afraid of taking a chance. They feel that, some people are just so used to the same thing, they don't want change. And so, but again, nothing against those individuals, whoever's not for it right now, it's okay because the door's always open to them. Whether it's in a year, if it's 10 years, 20 years, eventually they come to a point in their life where they're like, you know what? Okay, I want to be a part of this. The door's always open. So,
Right.
I mean, it comes with a gig. You're not going to have everyone who agrees with you all the time. But at the same time, once they see this become more established and see it grow more, eventually within, them seeing how things turn out, slowly they'll come back. So it's all right. It's all good.
And I mean, it's so good to see that you have such a good attitude about that. That you're willing to allow someone who did shun you at first possibly come back later
Definitely.
on and
Definitely.
join in on this partnership. So that's great. Tell me a little bit about your team, Midnight Paranormal Society.
Well, I founded MPS back in 2009. The reason why I formed MPS, because when I was a child myself, uh, I guess my experience started back in 1988, and my mom was a single parent, and I'm the eldest of 7 children, but at that time it was just my mom and I, and we were experiencing some stuff because one of our neighbors, her son, now he passed away, but when he was a kid himself, a teenager, he came over to our apartment. My mom was having a birthday party for him. They throwing, I guess, hosting the birthday party for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he started playing the Ouija board in our apartment. My mom was cooking, and when she came to take a break from cooking, 'cause my mom's the kind of person that, it's funny. My family would be like, "Hey, you want to come to the party?" And realistically, they want her to go to cook. That's the way they are with my mom.
Right.
So my mom was like, "Hey, I'll volunteer to cook." So she's cooking for the party, and then she comes out to take a break, sees her playing the Ouija board, and she's like, everybody out of my apartment." So she kicked everybody out. And so what ended up happening, our first experience that occurred, I went upstairs to use the restroom, and I'm trying to imagine the apartment. It's 2 levels. The downstairs part is the living room and the kitchen, and everything else. You go upstairs, is the bedrooms upstairs. I
Mm-hmm.
go to the second floor to go use the restroom, and when you go up the steps, there's a light switch at the bottom of the steps and one at the top. So what ended up happening was I get to the top of the steps. I'm about to get to the top of the steps, and the lights cut off, like it just shut off. And I didn't care. I had to use the restroom. I was a kid. I didn't care. So I get to the top of the stairs. To the left is my room. To the right is my mom's room. When I
Mm-hmm.
look to the left to my room, I see I had this old school a desk, right? It was like that combo desk where it's a chair and a desk connected, old school metal and wood desk. And I was always like this heavy kid, so I never got to fit in that chair. But I see this full grown man sitting there perfectly, and it's all I could think of was like, how can he sit on there and not me? So I go to the restroom. I come out of the restroom. Now my room's on the right side. I look again, and this time the guy turns and he looks at me, and I never forget his eyes. Like it was like someone who just like got their heart broken. Like he just was so devastated, sad look. And I looked at him for a few seconds, and I just went on my way. I didn't care. I was like, I need to go back downstairs. I go downstairs. My mom's laying the last person out of the apartment. And I say, wait, your friend's upstairs. She turns around, goes up the stairs. Before she can reach the top of the stairs, the light cuts back on from the stairway. And we stopped and we looked up, and the light was on. We go to the room, and there's nobody there. It's like whatever was there was gone. So after that, shortly after that, it was always something different. It was never the same thing. Always different. So fast forward to 2008, I I tried to join a team or a few teams, and nobody wanted to give me an opportunity. Someone told me that I didn't have enough equipment. Some told me I didn't have enough experience, and then one person was mean enough to say that I just wasn't good enough. So it lit a fire in me to want to form my own team. And
Right.
so for me, like just like this partnership, I wanted to create something that no one has ever seen. I wanted to, be able to. I wanted to be the person to give opportunity to somebody. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
for me, the easiest part for me is to give someone a chance, but it's up to them to keep that chance. You know what I mean? And so at that time, I formed MPS. My sister, she's my co-founder, but at the time, she was kind of doing her own thing, living her life. She was doing her own thing, and so I was slowly building MPS. And there was people who came to the team, but they just wanted to have the title of being an investigator, but not put no work into it. So I was like, no, I don't need that. I don't need no one writing my tail. So slowly, I would pray about this. I was like, Lord, bring me. I don't want just anybody in my team. I want somebody who's gonna be
Mhm.
like my family.
Right.
And I was like, and I want these people to stay, walk this journey with me. And one by one, my teammates came to me, and the rest has been history. I mean, there's 8 of us now, and we're so tight, we're so close, and we're always, for us when we go to a case, we'll joke around before we get to the case, but once we get to the investigation, it's like go time. We set aside the laughs, and we're there to take care of business. And
Right.
my team, I love them to death. I'll do anything for them, and they'll do it for me. But like I said, with my team, I wouldn't trade none of them for anything because they're just amazing, and our goal is to help all those being plagued by the paranormal. You know, we never guarantee that we can find anything in the case, but what we do is we're there to try to obviously debunk what's going on if we can. If not, we're
Mhm.
there to document and try to reassure them that listen, I know that you're at the point where you lost all hope, but we're here trying to bring that hope back. And it's an amazing thing.
Right.
I've been a part of many cases, and we've seen many things, but I would never change the field that we're in. I love it.
Right. I mean, and talking about getting teammates, it always is important to have those who are just as passionate about this as you
Exactly.
are and are willing to put in the work, because I don't think, a lot of people understand what goes into having a team.
Oh,
And
definitely.
it's not always just, it's not fun. It's not like you see on the TV. There is work involved.
Yeah,
Researching and going over evidence is tiring.
it
So
definitely is.
it is important to have that tight knit group. And I totally understand, because that's how mine is. We're a family.
Yeah.
And it is kind of hard once you're that established to just let anybody in. I've learned that over the years.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is. It can be, and like with my team, at first, when I talk about the partnership, some people were kind of on the fence about it. The majority were like, "Yeah, let's do this." But for those who were on the fence, it's just that for them, their thought process and their mindset is, we don't want to have just a team, a partnership just to have one. We don't want to have it just so we can do the work and no one else does anything. We want this to be where everyone puts in effort and energy into this because that's the only way it's going to work with this partnership. And
Right.
like with my team, no one just stands around. No one just stands there and doesn't do anything. Everyone puts in energy into this. And this partnership, it's going to take time to establish ourselves. But the only way we can become established is if we all take that same step together. You know what I mean? In
Right.
the right direction. If let's say one person is walking and everyone is just holding on to that one person and just dragging everybody, it's not going to work. That person's going to get burned out. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. No, I totally get it. And I mean, like I said, I think this is a great thing that you're doing. And it gives other people the opportunity to meet teams that normally they wouldn't. Because
Exactly.
you're right, even at events, when you bump into other teams, sometimes it just seems like, they just stick up their nose and go the opposite direction.
Exactly. Exactly.
So to
Exactly.
be able to, sit down and talk to other teams and just get to know people, and it's not all about, oh, I got this evidence, what did you get? It's more like, how can I help you with this case that you're
Definitely.
on? Or how maybe I know somebody that could help you, and I think
Definitely.
that's great. That networking is amazing. So let me ask you, on your team alone, do you help do you do home investigations as well as public locations?
We do actually a mixture. I mean, we do residential. We do businesses, commercial. We do everything. I mean, whether it's historically or not. I mean, we do all types of investigations. We don't do just one set of investigations. So yeah, we do a variety of investigations.
That's awesome. And what would you say is like for you guys, the place that's offered you the most evidence as far as a public place that other teams might be able to go to?
Um, well, actually, there's one place here in town. It's no longer available for the public to go to, but at the
Well, then what are you
time,
going to tell me about it?
it's because this place. Okay, you're asking the. I guess for me, that place out of all the places I've been to, it was like the one place that had the most activity. But if you want to go to a spot that you can get some pretty good activity, I would go to the Dunk Lady Bridge here in San Antonio. That place, you don't have to worry about the cops running you off. It's a place that has plenty of parking, and the only thing is you got to take plenty of flashlights and batteries because that place is super dark at night. And some bug repellent because when you're there, the moment you flash your light, it's like boom, a hive of bugs are there. But that place, we've been there, and I've seen other teams go, and they have caught many things there. Shadow apparitions. I mean, just a plethora of just different, pieces of great evidence. And there's a place near there called the Devil's Bridge that I guess they nicknamed it that. There was a team who went out there, and they're using dowsing rods, and I've never used dowsing rods before, but this team was using them, and they made contact with something so strong, I guess you can say, because usually the dowsing rods are like lightweight. They're almost like featherweight. They're really really light. But in the video they recorded there, the rods had kind of slowly went apart, and all of a sudden when they went together, they hit and they caused sparks at the end of them. And I never seen that before, so that was pretty interesting. I was like, But I never used those. But I mean, those are the two locations here in town that I would say if you were to go to, you'll get some really good evidence from in the public.
And about how many people, about how many teams are there out there in San Antonio aside from your own?
Oh man, I mean, just alone, I contacted maybe 20, and there was way more than that. I mean, there was I want to say about a good maybe 35 groups that are at least listed.
Wow. I know at one time when I actually formed my team,
Yeah.
there were a total of 250 teams throughout Texas at that
Oh
time.
wow.
And I mean, I was just trying to come up with a name. I was like, oh my God, they're all used.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
that's a lot in one space.
Yeah,
That's a lot of
definitely.
teams in one space. Um, so what do people have to do if they do have a team and they do want to be a part of this partnership of yours?
I guess the requirement is just to have that willingness to want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. With this partnership, again, it's like a family. And in order to be a part of this family, you have to have that respect for your fellow investigators. You don't want to the way you don't want to put yourself in harm's way. Don't do that to the person who's in the partnership. When you're gonna come, be willing to bring new ideas. Be willing to put in the effort just like everybody else. It don't matter what color you are. It don't matter where you come from. If you're rich or poor, that means zero being in this partnership.
Right.
The only thing that means being in this partnership is, being very passionate. Being dedicated. Wanting to see this evolve and grow. Bigger than we can ever imagine. And like I said, right now it's Texas. Who's to say that sometime from now it won't be in other parts of the different states. For now, I want to be able to get these Texas teams recognized in a way where, not to get off subject, but when you think about the paranormal, you always hear East Coast, West Coast, everywhere else, and it's like these people are always working together in other places. And here in Texas, I feel like it's that story of the crab in the bucket. When one person's trying to come up, other person's pulling them down. And I'm not saying for everybody, but for some. And for me, it's like with this partnership, there's no competition. There's no, hey, I'm better than you. It's just come as you are, and bring your passion, bring that love for the field, and that willingness to want to make a difference. That's all that it takes to be a part of this.
It's basically like just respect your fellow teams and respect the way they do things, and then just come together as one and shoot off ideas, because maybe you'll do something that we don't, and we can just
Yeah, definitely.
give each other feedback on those things. And I think that's awesome. So how do they get a hold of you, Mike, if they're interested in this?
Well, there's many ways. The first one is you can reach us through email. You can reach us. Our email is paranormalmps@gmail.com. You can also reach us through our Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/paranormalmps. You can send a message. I will respond most of the time. If not, my team will. Or you can go directly to the partnership page and you can search www.facebook.com/Paranormal Partnership of Texas. And like I said, the page will pop up. You'll see our picture. You'll see the main picture will be of the teams who showed up for the meeting. So you'll know you have the right place, and you can just send a direct message, and one of us will respond to you.
Okay. And let me ask you another question. When it comes to this partnership, obviously you're going to have like get-togethers or meetings and stuff like that, so that everybody can meet each other at some point. How often do these occur, and where are these located?
Well, we just had our first meeting August 17th, 2019, and that was it was a big success. So what we decided was, after that first meeting, 3 months time from that meeting, every 3 months within the first year, we're gonna have meetings every 3 months.
Okay.
What we're gonna do is we want to have them in an area where it's kind of equal for everyone to come out to. We may take turns and host it in different cities, just so we can be fair to everybody. But after the first year, we're gonna move to every 6 months. And like I said, we want to be able to plan it and organize it that way. We can really come together, and again, because it's going to get bigger, so we want to make sure we really organize it for for the future of those who come to be a part of this partnership. So that's it's for now 3 months, and then every 6 months.
Okay. Now, are your teams allowed to post, like if they are doing something, and they're inviting other teams to their function or whatever, are they allowed to post stuff like that on there?
Yes. If one thing that I try to encourage is with this partnership page, and even with the YouTube that we have, and even with the chats, I encourage those other teams and solo investigators to share content. If you're gonna have an event, like for example, like right now we're having the radio show. If not radio show, the show right now, if like with this one, I encourage you to share that stuff, because that's how we can kind of get the message out there that we're not just preaching para-unity, we're not just preaching the partnership, but we're actually doing it. We're actually we're showing people that we can do this, and we are successful at doing it.
Right.
So if you want to share to the page, to the messenger, to the YouTube channel, you have that opportunity to do so.
Right. And just to let everybody know, I am my team, the West Houston Paranormal Society, has signed up with the Paranormal Partnership of Texas. And so I will be doing these videos. I do these videos every week. So any team that would like to be interviewed, get your name out there a little more, and that way I can meet you from Houston. That would be great. You can just get a hold of me through there, and just let me know, and we'll schedule one of these short little videos. And I appreciate you taking the time out and to talk to me, Mike. I really do. And I think this is great. And I'm glad you're putting this out there. And I'm glad you're allowing me to put this out there as well.
Definitely.
So you have a great evening. You
as well.
And I look forward to hearing from the rest of you guys.
Definitely. Have a blessed evening.
You too, Mike. Bye.
Bye-bye.